Mitro and Bandhuvo, welcome to South Asia Maps. South Asia Maps is an intellectual Kshatriya channel, education channel that brings you the knowledge of South Asia in the form of icons, images and maps. We are talking about the partition of India, partition of Bharat, vivisection of Bharat, truncation of Bharat, balkanization of our motherland, Ulsterization of India by the Saiful Islams, the swordsmen of Islam. India was not partitioned by British, as you are told. It was partitioned by the demand by the followers of Islam, Momins, and Congress Party sanctioned it or signed the partition document, genuflected it. Then, why the British were blamed as a scapegoat for that? Topic of discussion, Partition of India playlist, number 19. Please pay attention to the particular part 19. British blamed as a scapegoat. Why none blamed Islam is the topic of India. That is the British a scapegoat here. So Gandhians blamed the British. Anti-Gandhian nationalists also blamed the British. Of course, Islamists also blamed the British in India. Of course, they loved it and took a different approach west of Ravi River. That is the Radcliffe line, a partition line. That is the Allah's line. Those who are in the Allah's land. Secularists blamed the British. Macaulayites, Lutyens blamed the British. Socialists blamed the British. Congress blamed the British. Even the nationalists like RSS, Bharatiya Janata Party, Sangh Parivar, all blamed the British. That is called a scapegoat. Why none blamed the Islam? You will know after this presentation. Then what is a scapegoat? Scapegoat, the dictionary definition is whipping boy, a fall guy. There is a typo here, a person who is blamed for wrongdoing, mistakes or faults others, especially for the reason of expediency. To make the matter simple, suppose there is a modern times of elections, political party loses the elections, but generally they won't blame the leadership or the party hierarchy or president. They blame it is due to the particular trivial issue that workers didn't work properly, they were not inspired, opponents put more money, all those things. This is called a scapegoat. That means the real culprit is sheltered, a ornamental guy put in for a sacrificial purpose, that is the scapegoat. Here the scapegoat is the British. British were blamed as a scapegoat for partition of India, where the real reason is the Islam. This intellectual doctrinal work about the partition of India was done by Voice of India Think-Tank called Trimurti of Modern Renaissance, Mahayogi Sri Ram Swarup, Mahadrishta, Great Seer, Fourth Seer, Sitaram Goelji, and Mahagnani Koenraad, else from Belgium. They were associated with Voice of India intellectual think tank post-partition after the Hindus gave 5 provinces and Islamic issue still is not resolved, and they did a great doctrinal works. You can look at their works in separate their sites. Here, essentially, the India was partitioned based upon the Quranic theology sanctioned by the godling Allah in Quran. That means Allah divides the mankind, the territory into Darul Islam, the Islamic land where Muslims, Momins, they live. The rest of the people are Kafirs or Heathens or Harbis. they need to be put to sword or converted or subdued. That is called al-Harb. This is al-Harb, Darul-Islam, and their land is an enlightened land. Our land, Kafir land, is a darker period, no civilization. That concept was there long back in the Islamic theology. 1947, anxiety of the British to quit, and the poor intellectualism and Ahimsa concept, lack of bone, muscle in the Congress leadership, made this possible. Why the various parties supported it? Congress supported and blamed the British, socialists blamed the British, communists blamed. Of course, the left-over-Islamists in Darul-Harb, Partition India, blamed the British also very cunningly, and of course the leftover ulema, Muslim scholars, blamed it, whereas the ulema in the Allah's land, Mu'min's land, Pakistan, they didn't blame it. They are very proud. They were able to rest the 5 subhas. So, whereas on the east side of the Radcliffe, they blamed the British. Gandhian nationalists, people who fought part of Gandhi political party, they are nationalists. They fought against the foreigners and British. They blamed also British. Anti-Gandhian nationalists also. The people are nationalists, but they disagreed with Gandhi's Ahimsa or cowardice policy, appeasement towards Muslims, Islam. They also blamed British. Of course, the Macaulayites, that is the British colonialism, solidified when the British left as a Macaulayites or Secularists or Lutyens. They blamed the British. Everybody blamed the British. Why this happened? When partition Congress happened, and now if you blame the British, Muslims are now round about 12 to 15% of population. They are the citizens of the truncated India. They are in the voters list. They will not vote for us, so they cannot criticize Islam for partition. Fear of criticizing Islam itself is a reason, because most of them doesn't know anything about Islam. You see the partition, lot of presentations, whenever talking about the partition of Bharat, if you don't hear the term Darul Islam, Darul Harb, Mu'mins, Kafirs, Illam, Jahiliya, that means the story is not complete. That is the crux of partition. And August Offer, Cripps Mission, Cabinet Mission, Mountbatten Plan, all are their political events. But the root cause is alienation Islam brings into the Muslim proselytes. That is very important. That means they fear to criticize the Islam. They are not knowledgeable about Islam also. Muslim demography, 200 plus Muslims, South Asia, that is partitioned India, makes a lot of people very fearful to criticize and point the fingers to the Islam for partition. So they easily point to the British, because there is no British voters in the Indian electoral system now, so they doesn't care. So if you criticize and then they don't respond also, they are in Britain, they all left, very few people lived during the British Raj, company rule, so they were blamed for that. And lack of nationalist spirit and looking the events from the national perspective is also one of the events. They look it from the Western perspective, from the British imperialist perspective, or perspectives of Islamic imperialism, British imperialism, European imperialism, or communist imperialism. This also blinds the people to point out. And political expediency is a solution. In order to explain the partition of India and Islam, you have to know a lot about Islam. Islam, how it originated, how it spread, the concept of Darul Islam, Darul Harb, Darul Amin, the Mu'mins, Kafirs, Illam, Jahiliya, and you have to know what is Ghazwa, what is Anfal, and what is Jihad, Mujahideen. All these things takes time and effort to understand it, put in the context, and a lot of people who are not trained, are not aware of it. So easy solution is to blame the British, use them as a scapegoat. That is also a reason. The lack of intellectual muscle among the Hindus. Hindus themselves didn't know until 47. You look the contemporary, the Congress resolutions, Congress leaders' statement, they blame the Muslims. That is wrong. Muslims are different from Islam. Muslims are our own people, the Punjabi Muslims, Sindhi Muslims, Beluchi, or Pashtun, or Rohilla Muslims, or Gujarati Muslims. They were alienated by Islam. Ram Swarup ji, Sita Goel were the first people distinguished between the Islam and its victims, the proselytes, converts. And that's why a lot of people in Sangha Parivaris blame Muslims for partition. I used to do it. Now I updated my thinking after going the works of Voice of India. So the Muslims didn't partition. Of course, they rioted a lot. That's a different story. It is the Islam that is responsible for partition of India, and they should be blamed. They should be critiqued, not the British scapegoat. That means the lack of intellectual muscle among the Hindus to discuss about the issues at serious ideological level is also reason why they put the easy solution on the British. Until the Voice of India Think-Tank came, they made the doctrinal serious work on Islam, gave the protection, ideological protection to the Hindu civilization, Buddhist civilization, in a sense all the native civilizations which are under severe attack by conversion-based militant creeds of Islam and Christianity, and also communism and European imperialism. That was not present at that time during the partition. That was also one reason. So Voice of India Think Tank here played a very important role. Mahayogi Sri Ram Swarup ji, Mahadrishta Sitaram Goel ji, Mahagnani Dr. Koenraad Elst. So here I am showing the search, what is meant by scapegoat. Everybody blames the easiest scapegoat, and that is used as a sacrificial thing. That is what the dictionary says. The scapegoat is responsible for this. British are used as a scapegoat for partition, which not really responsible for it. I have an intellectual Kshatriya channel, South Asia Maps, J. Reddy. You can search at it, and there are more than 150 meticulously made presentations waiting for you to explore. If you like to subscribe, of course, please put comments what you would like to see and what should be, what is your opinion. And these are the some of the, I have more than 150 presentations for you, meticulous maps made for your intellectual enthrallment and learning. I am going to put this particular presentation in the Partition 1947 playlist. There are nearly 20 or so playlists itself. You can look at them. So the playlists are Darshani Arabi Horses, Maharashtra, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, United Province, Natural Boundaries, Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Khyber Frontier Province, United Province, Assam, Northeast Karnataka, Islam, Gujarat and Pakistan, the Rayalaseema Ceded District, Andhra Pradesh, Bengal region, World Geography, Geographical Areas, and Tamil Nadu, Jammu and Kashmir, and India Treaties, some of the favorites, musings, reflections, Vijayanagara Empire, the railways history, districts of India, districts of Pakistan, Bangladesh, Punjab history, Punjab region, about Islam, and Congress Party, the current politics, Deccan region, the Mughal Empire, of course, Partition 1947, Indian battles, miscellaneous, anything that doesn't fit in this so far, Hyderabad Nizams in Deccan, central provinces, that is Madhya Bharat, and we have Kerala and Bombay Presidency and Madras Presidency. Already here I have more than 15 or 17, 18 partition related topics. The partition, the gainers and losers of partition, and Sisyphus syndrome, fruitless, endless effort of Islamic proselytes, appeasement, and we have partition, the elephant in the problem, very serious issue that our leaders ignore or pretend their ignore doesn't exist. That is 220 million Muslims left over in the truncated India, and their aggression, street rioting, Islamic gangsterism now started. Same thing that happened in 20s, 30s, 40s happening now. Where will you as a Kafirs, after shedding the 5 subhas, that is Balochistan, Sindh and Pashchim Punjab, Sylhet, Khyber and Purbi Bengal, that is Maghreb, Mashriq Bengal, you will go. Why did you give the territory for them? Why still you kept them in truncated India? Why did you declare the country as secular? Under the gap, why did you give them the first class citizenship like a Mumins? Why should you reduce the native people like they miss? All these things should be agitating you. So next is the Lahore resolution. Who drafted the Lahore resolution? Pakistan resolution, officially by Sir Jafarullah Khan from Sialkot, that is Daska, who was the cabinet minister, called Executive Council Cabinet of Lord Linlithgow's time, and officially presented by Maulvi Fazlul Haq, Bengali premier. But original resolution was there in Quran itself. The Quranic godling Allah sanctioned the word Darul Harb and Darul Islam. I will map them there. The Partition of India, who wrote the script, who are the director, who are the actors, who are the heroes, who are the villains, who are the cameos, who are the facilitators of partition. You can look at that. In number 7, partition of Bharat, Indo-Gangetic Plains, also partition in Deccan, attempt of partition by Nizam Mir Usman Ali Khan, Allah Hadrat, is misjudgment, miscalculation, and action by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Operation Polo. I talked about it. Then when partition resolution was introduced by Bengal Premier Fazlul Haq, they're essentially Mumin subalterns, Bengali Mumin subalterns in the service of Punjabi Ghazis in Lahore, across Sadhara and Ravi River, in the Barido, in the British Punjab, Indo-Gangetic Plains, British India. Then Radcliffe line, the partition line, or Mountbatten's line, Ravi line, Bhagirathi Hooghly line, exactly follow the Quranic Allah's line. That is the one of the presentation. Pakistan resolution, the Nakal, the resolution drafted by Sir Jafarullah Khan is a Nakal, a Xerox copy that imitates the original Allah's copy that is present in Quran, Hadith and Sharia. Of course, the original copy is in the Arabic. The refined copy is couched with political terms in English language. That is the Nakal, but there is the original. I mapped there. The sole spokesman of Allah, Muhammad, started appointing himself Allah's spokesman, where the pagan Arabs resisted, didn't buy it. Finally, he waged the war against them, Ghazwa, Jihad, subdued them, imposed himself as a messenger of Allah, and started using Allah as his mouthpiece, strutting himself as Allah's messengers. We talked about Jinnah also did the same thing, sole spokesman. A prominent Pakistani intellectual, Ayesha Jalal, wrote a book, Sole Spokesman of Indian Mumins, Muslims, during the partition time, is Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Bengali Mussalman occupied Assam. People always talk about the Pak-occupied Kashmir, that is the Dogras partition line, Amritsar TT2, that is the Muzaffarabad, east side of Jhelum River, the Mirpur and Poonch and other Gilgit and all those areas, that is the Pak-occupied Kashmir. We have Bangladesh occupied Kashmir, Bengali Mussalman occupied Kashmir, east of Sankosh River or Tista River, that is Goel district, Kamrupa district, Naugang district, and the leftover part of Sylhet district, that is Hailakandi and Badarpur and Silchar, Karimganj, all these now acquired a Muslim majorities. Where do Assamese Kafirs will go? Will their fate will become the Kashmiri Pandits? That is for you to think about. Then the difference between jihad, ghazwa, subtleties in partitioned India, nuances, differences. Street rioting, Islamic gangsterism is a jihad, is a ghazwa in a different form. Partition of Gurdaspur district in the Barido, that is the Pathankot and Batala Gurdaspur, other side of Ravi were left to us, and Shakargarh was given to Momins, that is the partition. Saiful Allah, the sword of Allah, fell on Gurdaspur district, Shakargarh textile sliced away. Same thing in the east side in Assam, Sylhet district, Saif Allah, sword of Allah, Talwar of Allah, fell Sunamganj, Sylhet Taluk, Sunamganj Taluk, Habibganj Taluk, and Maulvi Bazar Taluk were sliced off, given to East Bengal, East Punjab. I talked about it. Thank you very much, Mitram and Bandhum. If you liked our presentations, please subscribe it and bring to your friends and add your comments. See you later. This is Jared.